Trimet Board of Directors time. I really haven't been watching them, but I think I'm going to start watching them again because we have a new leader, a new fearless leader. His name is Doug Kelsey, the clone of Neil McFarlane. So we're going to want to watch him for a little while at least and see what's going on with this guy. I don't expect anything to change over there. Nothing. I have no expectation of changes whatsoever. But I do want to start with the testimonies, so let's get right at it.
And parking issues in our neighborhood. We understand that there's some logistical challenges to getting over the Fremont Bridge when it's congested, but we've been assured that that can be worked out, and we're looking forward to having that service start. For us, this is part of our overall strategy to work with our Parking Stakeholder Advisory Committee, which I've recently joined, which advises PBOT on how to reduce parking and traffic issues in our neighborhood through a parking management plan. We still have hundreds, if not thousands, of more units of housing coming online in the next few years. So we welcome the increase in the Line 20 Burnside service frequency, and we believe that the Line 24 extension will be vital to supporting our.
All right. We need to listen to the whole thing from her. She's pro the extension. You know, how can you be against without 24-hour service? How can you be against any? How can you be against any increase in service anywhere? You can't. But as we found when we went through the budget, all of these increases are only 5%. They're only a 5% increase in the service level, which is a very minor increase in service overall. 5% isn't going to make a huge deal of difference to the overall experience of the general population of riders. Of course, we're in favor of all of these additions. Why? Of course, we don't need to even testify about that.
Appreciate it. Good morning, members of the board. I'm Michael Harrison. I'm with OHSU, and I appreciate your time this morning to give me the opportunity to testify. It would probably take an hour or several hours to describe all the partnerships that we have with Trimet.
Yeah. We don't need to listen to him either. I mean, he's part of the network, okay? He's part of that network. That whole all this governmental shit is all intertwined, and they all cooperate with each other, and they all support us. So I already know he's in favor of whatever the hell they're doing. So we don't need to watch him.
All right, the next two are Stephen Butler, who's on our TAC committee, and Rick Bachto, says Affiliation Division Midway. So please have a seat. Mr. Bachto here? I don't see him. I want to call up Samir Sayed, and I've got written here Thomas Thames. Is that what? Come on up, please. Are you both together? Well, we'll go ahead. Wait there. We'll bring you both up together. Okay. Mr. Butler, nice to see you again.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Board President Warner, members of the board, and Mr. Kelsey. I apologize if I stumble a little bit today. I was unable to put my notes in Braille, so I'm going to do my best to struggle through this. But if I do pause or if I do stumble, I hope you'll give me a little pardon on that.
You bet.
And what I'd like to do today, I want to talk to you. Well, first off, I am the chairman of the Planning Commission for the City of Gresham. However, I'd like to point out that I am not here in the capacity of the Gresham Planning Commission. I am here as an individual user of Trimet. And so I would like to, first off, I'd like to address the scheduled service improvements that are in store for 2019. But for the benefit of a lot of the public in attendance here, I know that you've probably all seen all of this and read this several times, but there are members of the public that are here that have not. So I'd like to real quick review part of Trimet's vision. You have your vision, which is to do our part in making our community the best place to live in the country. Then you have as our mission. The mission is to provide valued transit service that is safe, dependable, and, and easy to use. Then the values. do the right thing by being responsive, inclusive, and accountable. Line 20, becoming a 24-hour service, plugs right into the guiding principles. Serving Mount Hood Community College with improved availability for residents of the Rockwood area and also those coming into the Gresham Transit Center. I think there's no one on this board that would deny the fact that education is of vital importance. And rather than to put barriers to gaining that education, we need to remove them whenever possible. Giving the extended service makes it more available for students to access Mount Hood Community College as well as areas west of Gresham. Improved access to the hours will also improve access to major employment centers throughout all of the area that Trimet serves, as well as...
All right. So he's in favor of what they're doing. As I said a minute ago, how can you be against the service enhancements? It doesn't matter what it is. How can you be against anything they do? So, okay, we know you love everything, and so we'll go on to the next one.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. I was here almost a month ago testifying against awarding a sole source contract to Portland Patrol, Inc. And I'm here with our member today, and he will introduce himself.
Good morning. My name is Officer Thomas Thomas.
Ah,
I've been with the Locals 49 for 6 years. I'm the security officer for Trimet.
Yeah. So Thomas and other officers were, he was with our with the local member for the last 5 years, but working at the Trimet for the last 6 years. I'll skip the introduction and go directly to the statement. We believe Trimet current expansion of security with Portland Patrol, Inc. is the wrong approach for 3 major reasons. First, we support the call from ATU and OPAL for Rider Advocate Program to focus on de-escalating conflict and providing support to riders. Security officers with a good jobs have a role to play in securing our transit system, but security-only approach around fare collection puts security officers into interaction with the community members that do not support security officers, riders, or communities. A community-centered rider advocate program is a complement to existing system that would enhance safety and usability of our transit system. Second, security officers here in Portland metro area have spent their hard-earned money, time, and energy to build a security officers union, improve working conditions, provide a basic standard of living for all security officers here in Portland. Unionized security officers, whether working for G4S or any of the many other responsible union security companies, currently enjoying guaranteed yearly wage increase, affordable health care benefit, workplace protection, and a better working condition. Prior forming a union, security officers, including those who work at the Trimet site, went without a pay increase for years. Officers went without affordable health care coverage and struggled to cope with unbearable work conditions like working in inclement weather without adequate uniforms. Only 5 years ago, security officers formed their union and have steadily made improvement on their job since then. Awarding a sole source contract on Trimet site to non-union contract while there is already an effective and responsible security provider servicing the account seems intentionally to undercut the living and workplace standard unionized security officers have built in Portland area in the last 5 years. It is an insult to unionized security officers here in Portland, in particular for G4S security officers who work hard day in, day out to secure Trimet. Our regional transit should promote fair wages for working people, whether they are directly employed or employee of subcontractors. Instead, Trimet is participating in a race to the bottom where workers lose out in the long run and are subject to the whim of their employers' desire for profit. Our union asks that Trimet make and renew a commitment to our community over private or profit. Finally, we question the legitimacy of the decision to award a sole source contract to a private security firm rather than using a competitive bidding process. Trimet must ensure that public funds are spent wisely and do so in a way that is transparent and in compliance with the law. As you know, state contract law requires Trimet and other agencies to use a competitive bid in most cases. One of the few exemptions allows is when only one company can afford a certain service or product. We do not believe Trimet have provided sufficient justification for the sole source contract awarded to Portland Patrol. The stated justification was that Portland Patrol has a unique relationship with the Portland Police Bureau. We believe this idea is not founded in fact. On contrary, it sounded too much like cozy relationship or old boys network.
I'm going to have to ask you to wrap up if you're
Okay, I will wrap it up. We believe that G4S and other responsible private security firms should have been given a chance to present their qualification for this work, both in the interest of the public goods and to ensure workers on our transit system are treated with respect. G4S also has a long-standing relationship with the Portland Police and member of G4S our member are certified protected officers, have a military and police background. We support the demand of OPL and ATU that Trimet investigate all options on how our regional transit system can be kept secure and accessible for all our community and riders.
Thank you.
Okay, well, everything he said there was accurate, of course, and that is what they did there with the Portland Patrol was pretty unconscionable. I mean, they just did it. They didn't, we already know that Trimet is leading the way in union busting behavior in Oregon. We already know that for sure because, in case you haven't been paying attention, Cascade Policy Group, the far right-wing agency, has been touting Trimet as their example of how to reform benefits and pensions. So we know Trimet is the lead public agency in union busting behavior. And this whole contract with Portland Patrol is another example of that. And that's just the board doing what they want and disregarding the public. And nothing's going to change that. They're not accountable to us, okay? They're not accountable to us. They're accountable to this network of technocracy, politicians, insiders. They're not accountable to the people, and we already know that for definite sure. And everything he said was correct, and it was despicable that they did that. Portland, it's non-union, okay? They're not union. So you hear Trimet talking all the time about how they support minorities and all this garbage that comes out of their mouths over there. They are not part of the progressive movement. They are anti-progressive. They're total neoliberals. And neoliberals seek to extract wealth. They don't give back wealth. They extract wealth. So, right on for him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thomas. Oh, yes. All right. All right. So the next two then are Teresa Soto and R.A. Fonts. Good morning.
Morning.
I'll leave it to you. Go ahead, Mr. Fonts.
Good morning. My name is R.A. Fonts. Three things about autonomous vehicles. They're almost here. They will attract transit riders, and buses will become cheaper to operate relative to trains. They are almost here, really. The self-driving Chinese BRT, shown on the first page of your handout, is coming online. Low-speed autonomous vehicles, shuttle buses, entered service in San Ramon, California earlier this month. Waymo is now giving rides to Phoenix area residents in on-demand AVs on public streets, in traffic, without human backup drivers. Now, early flying machines regularly fell out of the skies, often killing pilots, passengers, and sometimes people on the ground. Yet aviation advanced, and now flying across continents and oceans is routine. With their promise of eventually putting an end to most traffic carnage AVs are coming, and Trimet needs to prepare. You can expect that many who ride Trimet will switch to privately operated on-demand AVs. What will be the taxpayers' reaction to a large permanent ridership drop, especially since AV owners will be paying taxes instead of eating them? Carpooling will be in AV operators' own interest, and if successful, on-demand AVs could absorb all transit riders while actually reducing congestion. If Trimet survives the AV transition, it will have to automate its own fleet for safety reasons, if nothing else. With its 2-car limit, MAX will lose any chance of being cost-effective. Please refer to the 3rd page of your handout with a chart. You'll notice that after 31 years of operation, MAX still is not cost-effective compared with BRT. On the right side, it shows that the maximum load sections, they only average around 19% of capacity, and that's pathetic. Trimet isn't doing anything wrong here, it's just that the demand is not there. With its relatively high fixed cost, light rail's outlook is bleak. The point is that you have to get AVs into the planning discussion. Please consider the grid on the 2nd page. Things in the green quadrant, like increasing span, could make sense both now and in the future. Those in red, like streetcar with its whopping $3.30 per passenger mile operating expense, don't make sense now and they're not likely to in the future. The hard ones are in the yellow. These are the ones that are going to be very difficult. The 19th century is long gone, and its fixed route, fixed schedule, big box transit systems have been on life support for decades. Unless this board and this general manager can come up with a smaller, more narrowly focused, and far more efficient Trimet, the public just might decide to pull the plug. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn.
I've always liked R.A. a lot, and I remember him from my days over at Portland Transport blog when I used to go over there and rant and rave until they kicked me off. And anyway, he's wrong about that, okay. The self-driving cars are not coming online anytime soon. Sure, they have some experiments going on in different locations, but you just read recently that one of them killed somebody, and I think it's in California. They're not anywhere near mass production. Okay, the infrastructure is not there to support this. Sure, they can work in some little tiny college towns or something, but how are you going to make that work in downtown Portland or downtown New York or downtown San Francisco? It's way off in the future. The whole autonomous driving vehicle, and how's that going to replace mass transit? Have you seen a MAX train at rush hour? Okay, those things are full. You're not going to be able to save space by having, what, that would be 100 different autonomous vehicles coming in town for one MAX train. So, you know, he's a little bit, as far as I'm concerned, he's way ahead of the timeline for that. And, you know, obviously Trimet's not going to do anything about this. You know, they don't care what he thinks anyway, but this is not something that can be taken seriously right now.
Appreciate it. Good morning, Teresa. Nice to see
Hello,
you.
buenos días. Good morning, Trimet board members, General Manager Kelsey, Kelly, Tracy, and Shelley. I am Teresa Casey Soto. I am bus and MAX dependent. I'm a medical interpreter, and I get to my assignments by bus. Lines 9, 17, 73, 71, 19, and 20, and 72 are the buses that I ride on a regular basis. Now, before I continue, I want to tell the new board members that Keith Schultz of Opal Bus Riders Unite, who's not here yet, and myself are now into our 8th year of advocating for improved bus service. Hooray for us. This morning I'm asking you, the members of the Trimet Board of Directors, to reinstate the Rider Advocate Program and that you follow the lead of city residents who are engaged in supporting transit-dependent riders and in making suggestions for improvements. Last September, Keith Schultz and I met with John Gardner to discuss concerns that we have about the safety of drivers and riders, and about the need for riders to be made aware of what I'm calling bus riding culture. Your fare needs to be ready when you board. You pay for one seat. Please pick up your feet so that passengers can safely board and deboard the bus. stand behind the bus driver, and that includes bus drivers. You know, you do that sometimes too. And directly in front of the back door blocks access for those boarding and deboarding. Please smoke away from the shelters and not inside them. These are examples of what I'm calling bus riding culture. The Rider Advocate Program can be a way to coalesce the community of bus riders, supporters, and stakeholders into a cohesive movement so that we can move forward in motivating and encouraging Portland citizens to leave their cars and take public transportation. The Rider Advocate Program could do a lot to dispel some of the fear that still keeps some residents from riding the bus. I still hear how dangerous it is to ride the bus. I just heard that yesterday. In closing, I would like to ask all of you, like I always have in previous years, on the board, everybody here, to please take the bus and Max for all of your daily and social needs for 1 whole month, and then you will understand why I'm still here 8 years later. Trimet. And I'm going to say we can be the very best. I used to say you. Bus riders have no other bus company. I appreciate having the bus and the Max to continue living my wonderful life. It's time for Trimet and riders to move the company forward together. And thank you. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Teresa.
It's good to see you guys.
So she's been testifying for 8 years, and she's still in a good mood. Well, obviously not getting anywhere. Oh, they gave you a low-income pass, and they did give the extended transfer time. I guess that's all gone, though, right? Wait a minute. I don't know what's going to happen with all that with the HOP when they transition to HOP. I don't know. Good question. No, she's right about everything, and she's still at it. And nice testimony, but I mean, it's just nice testimony because, you know, Trimet is a part of the state, okay? It's a functionary of the state. We'll call it the state. The state is all of government, from the federal to the state to the local to the Trimet to every single place that's part of that tax farm machine, where they're extracting wealth from the citizens and using it to run these government functions. And the government functions are not accountable to the citizens that the wealth was extracted from. And that's obviously set up intentionally that way. So it's a nice testimony, but, you know, a lot of good it's going to do.